Hello everyone, my name is Alex Gomez and welcome back to my channel. In this channel we create digital sculpting and 3D assets, modeling and more. So on today's video we are going to be sculpting a hand, an stylized hand. It's going to be an easy way, so let's get started. So first in Zbrush we're going to start with a cube and we're going to start giving some proportions to it. So I just start with a regular cube from Zbrush. I'm going to scale it down on the y-axis. I'm going to turn perspective off and I'm going to turn the floor off as well. So now that I have this shape of my cube, this is going to be kind of like at the base of my hand. So I'm just going to start moving some points. Some people kind of like use the chip control, use the curve tool just to cut it out. Not the curve tool, sorry, the trim curve. We can use this one. Let's turn off symmetry. Let's cut this part that is gonna be the outside of the hand. So let's cut it around that. I have to delete the subdivisions. So let's put the subdivisions low. For this case, delete higher. Let's cut this part here. Let's cut this part in the other direction, right there. And then I'm gonna cut this way. I'm kind of like giving the shape of the hand, and this is gonna be our back part of the hand, and this is gonna be our palm part of the hand. So if you see, our hand is pretty much kind of like similar to a square, but it's not actually a square. So that's something that we have to take in consideration when we're building our hands. The other thing is that we have to cut this way as well, and I'm going to explain that why. Probably here, and let's see, probably have to use the trim dynamic, and I'm gonna trim this part as well. And what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna block out. This is just like a block out process here. And what I'm doing this because the part where our fingers bend is right here and our knuckles are right here. They're always in this diagonal shape. They never go straight like that. That's like a really common mistake that not normal. Sometimes people do. That have like where our finger bends and then our knuckle. I'm gonna show you after this. Let's do a Dynamesh for this. I'm gonna like to clean it up a little bit more. And let's smooth it out. That's good. And let's kind of like move this part up or to the front a little bit, and this one to the back. Okay, so now that I have this shape, our hands are not like that flat at all. So they have a little bit of a curve. So in order to get that curve, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press W, go to my gizmo, I'm going to press the gear, and I'm going to use the bend curve. Okay, so right now my bend curve, let's see what this axis goes. Let's increase. Okay, that goes in the right axis. If you want to change the axis, you can change it with this red one, but now I want that one, and I change the resolution, the curve resolution. That's too much, but right there. Now that I have this, I'm gonna move my points a little bit, and that's it. And that's gonna be much better. A little bit of a curve to give that. Okay, so our thumb is gonna be here, our index, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Okay, so now that I have that curve, what I'm going to do, I'm going to the gear, and then I'm gonna press absect. So I'm gonna get that deformer right there, perfect. Okay. Okay, so perfect. So I'm gonna locate one knuckle. I think I'm gonna, because this is gonna be an stylized hand, I'm gonna create one finger and I'm gonna duplicate the other ones. If I were to create a realistic, all the fingers are a little bit different. So for this case, it's an stylized one. So let's start with our finger. So let's append a subtool. Let's go subtool, append, and let's append a cube 3D. Okay, select this and let's scale it down. Okay, let's move it here on the front and let's scale it. Okay, that's good. And let's kind of like insert it right there. Let's move it up a little bit, scale it up a little bit. That's good. So as I said before, our fingers, the part where our finger bends doesn't go straight with the knuckle, goes in a diagonal here. And the only one that goes a little bit straight is the middle knuckle right here. The other one, it goes in the other direction, and I'm gonna show you in a second how it goes like this. So let's go to the brush, let's go to the trim curve, and I'm gonna cut this the other side right there. So it goes that direction, okay? And then this one goes all the way straight. So I have, this is my first part of the phalange. I think that is the name. Sorry if I don't pronounce the proper anatomical names of it, but there you go. This is my first phalange. And if you see what I'm talking about, this is the part where our finger is gonna bend, and this is the part where our knuckle is gonna be. So let's move this down a little bit, let's scale it down. And we have our first part. So let's move a tiny bit because it has get symmetry in this, or no, it's going to have symmetry in this one. Let's move this part down a little bit, down like that, because they're not always like all straight the finger. Okay, I'm gonna append another subtool, and in this case is gonna be a sphere, and my sphere are gonna be the knuckles. So let's scale it down, move it up, scale it down, and let's move it up. Okay, there you go. There you go, perfect. Put it around there, a little bit bigger, do it this way. Let's go like there. Okay. So I have my knuckle right there. So this is where it bends, and it goes all diagonal with that knuckles, and all the fingers are gonna behave the same way. They're gonna go all diagonal with the same angle. Okay, I can have this other knuckle, and I'm gonna duplicate it, and I'm gonna move it right in front of it. So this is my third knuckle right here. Okay, I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna dynamesh this, so make it look a little bit nicer, just for now, you know. And let's gonna give it a little bit of a curve right there. That's excellent. Perfect. Now I have to do my other finger, my other phalange, I think it is the name of it, right in front of it. So I can just duplicate this one, just move it up, because I kind of like have the same size here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna cut the trim curve. I'm gonna cut this part, and then I'm gonna cut this part in this side. Probably that's too much. Let's do it right there. So it goes diagonal. This part goes diagonal. This part goes diagonal to our last phalange. Okay. So let's move this part of the finger, that knuckle, move it down a little bit, scale it down, and there we go. Okay, I have this finger. Let's move it down a little bit. Let's don't make those fingers all the way straight. Just give them a little bit of a curve. Okay. So now that I have that part, I'm going to create my other one. Let's get this down a little bit. And okay, so let's create my other finger right here. So I think I'm gonna duplicate this one as well. Oh, let's duplicate the first one. I think so. Let's duplicate the first one. Duplicate. Let's move it in here. I'm gonna move with Alt. I'm gonna move my center pivot, and I'm gonna move it this way. Kind of like to give it a little bit of a curve. Have it right there, and I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna cut it the same direction as my second phalange. So let's see. Let's cut this one up the other way. Let's cut it right there. And I don't care like right now if it's like not matching that good. This is just for blocking purposes. I will fix that after. And this part has to go down, and this one goes inside. So let's see. Let's move that part down. I can just do some cuts here as well. Let's cut this right there, and let's cut this right there, and then I can just smooth this out. Okay, perfect. And let's move this down low, but a little bit. Okay. And I'm gonna have another knuckle there. Okay, this one, and let's move it out right here. And I have my other knuckle right there. So pretty much I have like this is my finger. This is like a one finger, and if you see like our directions from the curve to the knuckle in the tip of the finger, it goes in the front. The bend, it goes a little bit behind. In the middle, it goes almost straight, and in the first one, it goes the bend ahead and the knuckle behind. So let's fix this one a little bit, the size of it, kind of like proportions. Okay, and this is gonna be like an stylized, a little bit an stylized hand. So now that I have that, I'm gonna just dynamesh all my fingers, and then I'm gonna create the thumb. So let's take this. We're gonna merge everything down. Okay, merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down. Okay, I'm gonna dynamesh everything there. Okay, I'm gonna smooth it out. I'm kind of like gonna start giving like a little bit of a shape here. Okay. Because this is like a too flat here, and you know fingers are not like that flat, so I'm gonna give a little bit of volume here. So I'm just gonna use the clay buildup. I'm gonna change my alpha to some alpha 1, just to give it a little bit more of a, you know, as a hard one as the other one is. The other alpha normal for the clay buildup. So this one probably will work much better. And just move it out. And sometimes in our fingers, this part is a little bit more pronounced in the middle of the fingers. Let's do that, and let's keep smoothing. Okay, so we get like a nice shape. It's good. It's good. Okay, and all these like a hard border. Let's kill this hard edge, and let's build a little bit, and let's build a little bit here. Okay, now I'm seeing that this built too much, so let's put it lower, move it up. Okay, perfect. So we kind of like have our first from here. Let's move this a little bit more so it doesn't go like that sharp at the tip of our finger. So we have our first finger right there, and I'm gonna do kind of like the cuts where the finger bends. So this I'm gonna go straight right where my knuckle is. So this is gonna be with my dam standard, just to have kind of like a base, you know. Then I'm gonna go this one that goes right behind, right here. I'm gonna start from here. So I'm gonna mark it, you know, it goes in diagonal. So let's mark it right there. That's too much, kind of like mark it too much. So probably around there. Okay. So we have our fingers, our first finger, and probably this finger is a little bit like too big, I will say, for the hand. So I might have to adjust it. So let's scale it down a little bit, scale it this way, and then I'm gonna rotate it. I'm gonna put it in a little bit of an angle. And something that you guys should notice as well when you're doing your fingers is that let's duplicate this. And fingers, they never go like this in a big shape, you know, like kind of like a, they always have a space. If you look at your hand and you move your fingers, you're gonna realize that your fingers have like a little bit of that space between the two of them. And in this case, let's move it here, let's scale it up a little bit, and I have my third finger right there. Okay, and kind of like looks kind of like weird. It looks, but this one doesn't. The middle finger doesn't go that much, so there's something wrong in here. So I'm just gonna move it because it doesn't go that diagonal. This one's pretty much goes straight. Okay, and this one here, I am going to move it a little bit right there, and let's adjust this part of the hand, the base of the hand. Okay, perfect, and this one I'll have to move it a little bit up, because if you remember when we did the base of the hand, is a little bit, has a little bit of a curve. Okay, so I have my two fingers. Probably this one is tiny bit smaller, it's a little bit smaller if you compare. Probably right there, like this. Look at this space. Let's open it up and move it up a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so we have our second finger there. So let's go and do our third finger. Okay, so let's go our third finger, duplicate, and let's move this one. And I duplicate the first one because it's kind of like almost is the same size, just a little bit smaller. But in this case, it's not that it's smaller. This one goes a little bit more inside. So, and this one has to go. Yeah, this one has to go more out, and this one inside. So there you go. And then I'm gonna have my pinky, and I have to have like the same space here as well. So I'm gonna move this down so I have a like in a better sequence or order. Okay, and let's duplicate this one and let's do our pinky right here. And this one is gonna be smaller, and it's gonna go a little bit more inside of our pinky. Okay, perfect. And of course I will have to adjust this part as well. So let's smooth this out a little bit, these sharp edges. And sorry, I can only move it. This one have to move it out a little bit. Let's move this one in, and you see we keep like our same form. And here now you see that our fingers have our diagonal straight and our diagonal. Okay. And we can add a little bit of volume to these ones once we finished with the thumb and stuff. So now for the thumb, and I know this is not looking right now as like oh, this hand is looking amazing. No, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get there, like always do. Like you know, how like, oh, this goes like this geometry, and you're gonna join it with this one and with the other one, and then you have a perfect hand. No, it just takes time and takes process and takes some time to kind of like work in your proportions and so on. So let's append another tool, and this subtool, sorry, and this one is gonna be the part that goes to the thumb. So let's rotate this one a little bit 90 degrees. Let's scale it like that. Let's move it this way, and this one is gonna go like almost right where the wrist starts, right there, and it goes down a little bit. So this is gonna be a little bit tricky to do. So kind of like it goes inside, and in this part it goes down here, and definitely this goes down for sure. Okay, so other things that I notice here is that my base of the hand is pretty, it has to be a little bit more thicker. It's like the proportions are throwing me off a little bit, and that's what I mean. Sometimes you have to keep working with the proportions. They're not just gonna like work right away unless you're like an amazing artist that can get it done like that. Not me. For me, I take my time doing the stuff like that. So, and I'm gonna kind of like get that shape ready for the part of my thumb. Okay, so there you go. I have this piece, and then I'm gonna start working with my other part of the fingers, or my thumb, sorry. Okay, so there you go. It's getting there. So let's insert another sub tool, append, and this time I'm just gonna append a cube as well, and let's move it out. Now like that. Select the first, let's move it. Let's work in that shape first. So okay, so probably a little bit small. I'm gonna rotate and scale down. Let's see, I'm going down. That's too big, too high. Let's put it like that. It's gonna be almost the same size as my other fingers. So let's go in the top view, keep rotating, and let's insert this right there. Probably a little bit smaller, right there, and let's move this inside a little bit. And this is, as I said before, this is just for the sake of blocking out. Then we can just adjust our hand much better. But this is very helpful to block out and kind of like see the proportions of our hands and see how they work. Okay, and probably then I will need to kind of like, you know, like get this more in a little bit more round, kind of like in coherence with this shape. Okay, so I have that shape there, and now I'm gonna create another cube. So let's append another cube. Append cube, and let's go. That's too big. I'm doing the wrong one. I always do that mistake where I append a new tool and I think that it's already selected and it's not. Always tend to do that. And before I do that, this is going all the way straight. This has to have a little bit of an angle right there. I will say a little bit of an angle, and then I'm gonna take my other part of the cube. I'm just gonna make it right here like that. I'm gonna move it. I think probably this is too big now. So let's see. Probably have to scale it down a little bit. And let's move it. Gonna go right here. Let's snap it where it should be. Let's move our gizmo, our pivot point, so I can rotate it the way it's supposed to be. And then this is gonna go inside a little bit. Let's see. And right there. And that's looking much better. And let's scale this down a little bit. And I think I'm gonna cut this because this one doesn't go straight. This one goes a little bit of an angle as well when I'm cutting. So let's get this right there. Let's get the this one, trim curve, not the other side, right here. I have my angle right there. Perfect. Okay, and let's move this one a little bit. I don't care as much like those details there, but it's fine for now. Okay, so I'm gonna paint another cube. And I think like I don't know, like sometimes I can do it with a sphere, but I think like cubes are a good representation of what we're doing here. I think so, I believe so. Let's see. I have this part. Nice. And in this case, I'm gonna use, let's see. Let's get the right proportion here first before I do anything else. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to not the bend curve, I'm just gonna move it just like that. Let's see, just gonna scale it up right there, scale it up more, scale it this way, okay, scale it more, and I have to rotate it and follow like the same direction as my thumb is going. So let's move it right here, kind of like in the pivot point that I want to see. Let's move it this way, and now that's too big for me. Okay, so let's scale it down, move it, scale it down. We have it right there almost. Yeah, scale it up a little bit and put it in, and let's cut it. I'm gonna cut it the same. So I'm gonna use the trim curve, and I'm gonna cut it this direction as well. There you go. So I have my other part of the thumb, and in this case, this part, this one is gonna go a little bit like but I'm gonna finish it after I kind of like merge all of these three pieces together, and I make my thumb. I'm gonna do like a dynamesh kind of thing. So let's merge down, and dynamesh this, and let's like move them like that. I was supposed to put like a little bit of an knuckle, but I can't fix this. Just put in a little bit of a clay buildup right here because there's a knuckle right there. Okay, so kind of like get rid of these sharp edges. This part here. Okay, probably if I were to do a thumb, I might have just do like a separate fingers and do it so I can use symmetry, but in this case I'm not gonna use it. So let's see, I'm gonna move this down. Let's move this like that. Let's take this, let's dynamesh this again, so I don't like those sharp edges or sharp corners that is giving me for my finger. So this is what I want for my finger. Okay, or for my thumb. That's how is the thumb, not the finger. And I'm just going to inflate a little bit. If you don't have this inflate tool from Shane Olson's brushes, you can find it at Tree Character Workshop. Like, his brushes are really cool. So you can use the regular inflate for that case. Okay. Okay, so that's good. And what I have to do here is with the thin standard, kind of like mark where my thumb kind of like it bends. Okay, so pretty much I have kind of like my hand right there, like a stylized pretty hand. You know, still I can do some work to it, but these are the bases. The bases are kind of like a, you know, cover that we have our block out of our hand here. Okay, so now we have a muscle here. We have a tiny muscle that goes in this part as well. So let's put that part. So let's append sphere, and I do everything like a spheres and what can I call it? Spheres and cubes. That's pretty much like my workflow when I'm doing any stylize or any of my sculpts. So this is too big for now. Let's rotate it. And that's probably right there, and then I'm gonna go with the move tool, and I'm gonna move this just to give a little bit more of a, and this part is not as pronounced as this one. So this one, you have the muscle, but it's not as pronounced as this one. This one is bigger, the one that is attached to your thumb. So let's put it in right there. Perfect. So I have my hand, and then there is a big chunk of skin right here in this part. Now we can just put it as well, and that's kind of like it's gonna make our you see how our hand was more skinny there. Now if we put a chunk here, it's gonna make it look a little bit more bulky. Okay, so let's do that. And for me now this is too pronounced for the stylized purpose, so I'm just gonna flatten a little bit right after. Okay, so let's append another sphere. and let's select the sphere. Let's select the sphere again, and let's move this to the side. Let's scale that on y-axis. Okay, let's move this a little bit like that, probably right there. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna use one of my favorite tools, and this one is the bend curve. I really love this curve, so I'm okay with that resolution. If you want the resolution, more points that you can apply, I'm okay with this one. So let's move this one here a little bit up, a little bit up. And you see this one are really skinny. I want to taper them up, not down. So this is twist, this is scale. So with the scale I can just taper them up and scale them up a little bit. And then I'm gonna select this point and I'm gonna use this handle to scale it up a little bit. Okay, so let's move this up, and then let's get the gear and accept that deformation, and let's move this up a little bit more. And there we go. And let's now move this inside. Let's move this inside. So pretty much we're done with our blockout. This is pretty much the blockout of our hand. We have it. Some people have some colors right there to everything, polygroups and stuff. But for me, this is more like a, you know, like a, to see like a, that I'm doing the right things in my hand, you know, that have the right muscles. And actually, this is too big now. Now that I'm looking, that's what I like to always move my stuff. Always move it, move around and look. It's important to have that observation, because if you guys don't have it, it's not gonna be good. Like, you know, I always look everywhere in my camera, and I always still, even when I'm doing like a regular sculpts, like my characters and stuff, I normally see that there's stuff that I can improve, or there's stuff that I can just definitely like make it look better. Okay, so perfect. So I have my hand right there, and it's nice and pretty. So let's I'm gonna merge everything now, all visible. So yeah, I have all my subtools there. Let's go merge visible. It's gonna merge all my subtools. No, why it's not merging all visible? I'm just gonna go like down like that. Like this. No. Oh, okay, merge down, down, and down. Okay, perfect. I don't know why that doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just kind of like start filling the gaps a little bit, you know. So I have my Dynamesh. I'm gonna probably leave it as, when I have it too close and I do the Dynamesh, sometimes it doesn't work as good, but that's working good for me now, because I'm just in the blockout stage here. I'm not adding any details. I'm just adding, like, this is no details. This is just like marks where you know, I know where that goes, you know, where that bend goes and stuff. I'm gonna kind of like try to smooth it out a little bit here. I'm gonna start filling up some of the places here as well. We're close to be, not close to be done, but we're pretty in a good shape here to have our hand. Okay, and it's still too early there, so let's move this down a little bit. I have to move this part a little bit more, and let's smooth this out because that's too sharp. Okay, now I see that here I need a little bit more volume in this side of my thumb. Okay, so this is kind of like a lengthy process. It takes a while to get used to it, but you know, like this is just look references. Like one book that I totally recommend is Anatomy for Sculptors. Like totally worth the money of it. Like really good book. So if you guys can get your hands that book, I would definitely recommend it, because it's so important for sculptors like us to have a book like that. So let's smooth this out a little bit more. There you go. And let's add our mark again here. My mark is kind of like going up, and it's actually like needs to go down a little bit, this part of the finger. So let's see. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to mask this part. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna make mistakes, you're not gonna get it right, so might as well fix it. You know, I'm not perfect. It says that it sculpts and they just get things right away. They're probably like, I don't know, geniuses, but not me. Let me burn my mask. I'm gonna move it down, move my gizmo down, pressing Alt, and I'm gonna set up my same this, and then I'm gonna kind of like twist it like that a little bit. And I think that twist is gonna make a big difference right there. Let's get rid of the mask. Let's get rid of this Dynamesh. And now I'm going to start kind of like getting rid of these sharp edges. This is too much for what I'm looking for now. Okay, so just smooth this part out a little bit. Okay, that's good. This is too sharp right there, so it needs to smooth down the part. That as well. Same here. That's too sharp right there. And obviously right there. Well, let's put the drum size bigger. Okay. Now if I see here from the front of the hand like this, it's too big in comparison with this, so I have to make an adjustment right there. Kind of like now, kind of like feel that I have a better proportion right there in terms of the hands. This I feel that is too big, and it's okay. Like you know, like on the way to keep fixing it. So let's do. I'm gonna move it, and then I'm just gonna kind of like scale it down a little bit. And think that finger is much better now. Let's see. Right there, okay. And let's move this part out so it doesn't look as much on that part. So that's much better. Then I'm going to start creating like these creases right here in the part of the hand, kind of like with the thumb standard. So we're kind of like just very simple, but not as much. And this one kind of like going a little bit like that. Just kind of like really tiny bit, not as pronounced. I feel like this is a lot of a gap right there. So let's add some. Let's fill it up a little bit here. Just a tiny bit. And this is like everything, you know, like it's part of the process. You know, it's not like your guy is gonna get it right the first time. I definitely never get it right the first time, so I'm saying that I've been doing this for years. This part right here, this needs to be more cylindrical, because this is where it's gonna meet the forearm. Okay, let's move this up a little bit here. Okay, perfect. And this part as well. And let's do a bit of a fill. Oh, not that one. Let's fill it up here. Okay, and I'm still not that convinced about that curve right there for the style that I want to go with. So let's add a little bit of a feel. I'm using the chain Olsen feel brush. I really like it. It's kind of like a clay builder, but it's really soft and smooth. It's really nice to use actually. Just to fill up spaces, empty spaces like these ones right there. Okay, and that's looking much better. And right there, then I see that this part has to go a little bit up or out in this part. So let's let's use the clay buildup instead, just to build this part here. Okay, let's move it a little bit, and then it just has to come out from this side like that. And I think we have our hand. And I feel that these fingers are super long, super long. So what can we do? I'm just gonna get them a little bit shorter, and it's okay to do it, you know, it's not a big deal as long as our end result is still good. Not like that, just scaling everything up. I'm just scaling, yeah, that way. And let's do the other finger that I already did. Let's max this out, because it kind of like looks a little bit funny. And let's move this one, and let's scale it down a bit. Perfect. And now this one, still big, and invert mask, and let's move it and scale it down. But that's the thing with that I have my past video, that it talk a lot about observation, how important it is, because those things that kind of like we don't have the good observation, it's not gonna cause problems in the long run, like it's causing me right now, like where my fingers are super long in comparison with the rest of my hand. But you know, it's fixable. It's not like there's something that is gonna take me like forever to do. Just have to scale it up, and probably took me like a minute or so. So just make sure that you guys are always looking at your model, because you're always gonna find stuff that you're gonna fix. And in real life, like for example, the pinky finger is a little bit different. It kind of like goes inside like that, and this one goes like outside. So that's much better. I think that's much better for the pinky. Okay, so there you go. I have my stylized hand, and definitely I should put like some nails as well, or the cavity for the nails. I'm gonna polish this a little bit right there for the knuckles. I think they're too pronounced. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of clay builder here. Let's see. And you know, making sure that this goes in that angle, and that's gonna make a huge difference for your hands. Definitely, it's gonna look much better if you do it that way. And this knuckle right there. A little bit of this knuckle here. Okay, and I can just keep polishing until I get like a better results, but you know, there's a point that is enough, it's enough, like someone says the other day. But for me, for what I'm looking now, I think this is a good start for my hands. So I think there's still room to improve, but I think I'm happy with this result for now. Okay, so let's move this one a little bit like that. Just throws me off that the fingers are kind of like crawled like that a little bit. I should have make them straight, but still, it's a good exercise to make that like that. I can straighten them up, but it's not the purpose of this tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is to do kind of like a block out the hand and check out like the hand anatomy pretty much. That's the main purpose of it. So let's move this up a little bit, and it's just like a little bit of tiny adjustments that definitely is gonna make a big difference, you know. that's gonna work much better. So we can just probably like say like kind of like do the cavity for the hand. So let's do this with the clay buildup, but I'm gonna use it in the negative side. So let's go, just go right here. Like that. And then I can move the other one as well. This one's gonna be like this. Okay. Kind of like I'm doing a little bit fast because we're already like 40 minutes or so in the video, so no one wants to see like 40 minutes to watch a full YouTube video. Some people do, but I know some others don't. But if you guys like my tutorials that like that long and kind of like I go with it, just let me know and I will make more tutorials like this, kind of like anatomy studies and some like a real time tutorials per se, which I like to do. Sometimes just let me know what you guys rather to do in for my videos. If you like the time lapse that I normally do, if you like more in-depth tutorials like this one kind of like anatomy and stuff. Cool. So perfect. So I have my hand right there. I will probably give like a touch more stylized stuff, but that will go, it just depends, like stylized, realistic, sometimes it looks some realistic, just depends on the style. There's some stylized that are actually cartoony, which is so different. Mine are stylized but still like very not as cartoony as other ones. Let's see, fix this finger here. Okay, perfect. So yeah guys, I hope you like this video and subscribe for more, share, like, comment and so on. Don't forget to watch my other videos and see you next Friday. I'm doing a stylized, not stylized, I'm doing a video time lapse of trunks. So stay tuned and I will show you how it's looking. So take care guys and have an amazing weekend. Bye.